What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. This is very different to my usual style. Today, we are going to pretend to be Max Verstappen, F1 Grand Prix winner and Red Bull driver, pretty famous within the F1 community, and a guy in which I think it might even be half believable that he might race on the F1 game in his spare time. Hell, Lewis Hamilton did it on Gran Turismo, so why can't Max Verstappen? So my premise for this video is just to make myself look as much like Max Verstappen as what I possibly can, and I want to see how the public reacts to potentially racing a current Formula 1 driver. Will they be nice? Or will they be on the opposite end of the spectrum and try and take you out, get your attention, annoy you, piss you off, all these kinds of things? This is what I want to find out. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm setting up my profile. I've changed my Steam name to Max Verstappen, and here's my profile. If you look at me on F1 2019 in the open lobbies, this is what you'll see. I've gone for a picture of him that's not in his race overalls, because I feel like that'd be too obvious. I put the Dutch flag on. I've gone for an element or a logo with orange, and it kind of looks like MV, but the V being upside down. I don't know. I'm doing my best job here to recreate Max Verstappen's profile, and we gave him an F1 esports helmet because why the hell not? I mean, if he's good enough for F1, he should be good enough for F1 esports. But we're going to throw ourselves into our first race now. Unfortunately, the Red Bull was taken, so it is Toro Rosso time here at the Belgian Grand Prix. 5 red lights, and away we go for the start of Max Verstappen's F1 2019 online career. We've got to start off small, and we've got to earn that promotion to Red Bull, and we'll see how the public reacts. Obviously, the initial reaction would probably be that everyone will think that it's a fake, it's not really him. But if we actually drive decently, if we show off some pace, we might actually be able to convince a few people that this is the real deal. But anyway, you can see absolute carnage here on this first lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. It's really just wreck avoidance, getting ourselves some clear air, and then once the race settles a little bit, then we can judge other people's reactions and how they will take to seeing Max Verstappen in the same open lobby as them. I mean, it's not completely out of the question. I feel like, yeah, like I said, Max is one of the more believable people to do. I could have gone with Lewis Hamilton, which I think would have been too far outlandish. You know, Pierre Gasly plays the game pretty regularly. I've raced with junior drivers in the past, so it's not completely out of the question. But Esteban Ocon plays Gran Turismo quite frequently, so why can't there be an F1 driver playing? And you never know, I might have already raced with one in the past and I would have absolutely no idea. But anyway, I'm straying from the point. You can see so far on this first lap we have been racing a few people, which, to be fair to them, they have left space, they have been fairly courteous, and for that I really do thank them. But I don't expect everyone in every single lobby will react the same way when they see potentially Max Verstappen racing with them. I mean, not everyone is a fan of the same driver, and I feel like Max, for the most part, is a little bit Marmite within the F1 fandom. But in this race in particular, we had no such issues. We got our way to the front from pretty much last, and we were able to check out and win our very first race in the Toro Rosso. So by doing that and winning in such convincing fashion, the fastest lap tells it all, 147.6. Quite a bit faster than the majority of the field. I know that, like, if an F1 driver was actually taking part in the game, an F1 driver isn't going to be the fastest person in the world, but they're still going to be pretty decent at the game nonetheless, and I feel like we've hit that pretty good middle ground. We now move on to the next race, which is in Hungary. The Red Bull is free, and what do you know? It's in Max Verstappen's seat, so we are going a maximum suck mode for this race. I couldn't think of a better word, but we had a wet quali and we got on pole by 2.2 seconds. People in the game chat, unfortunately I didn't pick it up on the PC, but they were basically like this.
Oh mercy, he's the real deal.
So now we have potentially showed what we can do. Now in the race, let the fun begin. As we pull off to the side, we're going to let the whole field go through, because there is no fun in just leading away and winning a 25% race without seeing another soul for the rest of the Grand Prix. So thankfully, because it rained, I had free choice to tyre for the start of the race, and we are on the medium. We're going to run really long into this race and then switch to the soft. Either A, when we lose our front wing, or B, whenever we encounter some traffic that we can't get rid of, or whatever. Could even be a safety car. It is a 25% race. So we're leaving ourselves open to options later on. Literally, option tyres. No one get that pun? Unintentional pun? No. Okay, cool. It's P9. After letting everyone go through, you can see we're racing side by side with the Toro Rosso. He's actually turning into me in the apex of the corner. So yeah, that was fun. Basically got glued to him, but we got through anyway. Now up in a P6, we're trying to dispatch of a Haas drive. We go for an aggressive move here up the inside into the third sector. Max would leave nothing to chance, and I am doing exactly the same. Trying to replicate that aggressive overtaking style, and so we'll see whether it clashes with any other racing gamers on this platform. McLaren doesn't get a great run out of turns 2 and 3, and now we're going to have the inside now for turn 4. Risky move up here, but we get it done just about. McLaren is still there right up our chuff, but we leave a tiny bit of space, and he takes that all the way to the barrier. Cool. Wonderful. Didn't want to have a clean race anyway. That is the first moment of contact that I think we've had this video, or major contact. To be fair to the McLaren, he did let me go through, so maybe he realized he was in the wrong there, so fair play for letting me go through. We now find our way back through the field with slightly overheated tyres, but we should be okay. Leader here going defensive, so we're just going to take that aggression up the inside into turn 1. A lot of space was left here, so for the most part, even in the last race especially, but this one as well, lots of respect was shown, and even when I was taken out, the guy let me go back through, and I've got to say, that would not happen. That just wouldn't happen in a regular online race. Someone takes you out, they keep going. Nobody cares. Because it's Max Verstappen, he wants to get in his good books. But anyway, we have a Daniel Ricciardo pit stop here. Even the pit crew is reacting differently because of my presence. Safety car has been deployed. That came out at the perfect time. We're switching to soft compound tyres now, and we're going to finish off this race on the better tyre. We're absolutely going to leave everyone for dead. That is, unless, of course, we get taken out at turn 1. So let's prevent that from happening. I'm going to have a really slow build-up to this restart here, just like Max Verstappen did, actually, at Brazil. So we're going to take this all the way to the finish line, and then we're going to go so that no one gets slipstream, and we have a better chance of keeping the lead, which we pretty much did. We fast forward to the last lap of the Grand Prix, and we are going to win by well over 15 seconds. Prior to the pit stop and the safety car, we were leading by 30. So that really showed the dominance that we had on this field. We have a pretty good setup for this place too, to be fair. So yeah, it all just kind of clicked around here. But yeah, another victory for Max Verstappen. He's having a good time of things. Pole to last to victory, all while overtaking everybody twice and getting spun out. But we now move on to the US Grand Prix, where we didn't exactly have a good time of things. We didn't get a Red Bull sponsored car, so I feel like that was bad karma. We get absolutely wiped out by I don't even know who. So that wasn't a great start to things. We then rejoin on the circuit, trying to press on. Racing Point gives us absolutely no space, and that was the end of our day. But there is more to the story. I thought that it was just a simple case of he was being very eager and kind of I squeezed him maybe, but upon replay in the theater mode, which is a new feature for F1 2019, go check it out, not sponsored, you'll see that this guy comes in from absolutely nowhere and wipes us out. If that isn't a targeted attack, I don't know what is. Like, rewind it again. He literally comes from no, he hasn't even braked. He's just dived for the apex and has completely wiped us out. So, I don't know what to say. I don't know what his problem is. Clearly doesn't like Max Verstappen. Could be Daniel Ricciardo fanboy, or could even be a very passionate Charles Leclerc fanboy. You just never know.
With this many cars, there's always a chance of an incident on the first corner. Take care.
Alright then, moving on swiftly to the Belgian Grand Prix. We are going to see if we can nab ourselves a win at the home away from home prior to the 2020 Dutch Grand Prix. Away we go for Belgium, pretty much in last place, so this is going to be a tough old race from the back in only 5 laps.
I got damage. Oh. Yeah.
Only compounded by the fact that I've only gone and thrown myself into the back of another driver at turn 1, and I've got an illegal overtake warning for my trouble. Wonderful. Damage is on in these lobbies, by the way. It is on reduced, which means, I think it means you can't crash out fully, but it does mean that when you do get front wing damage, it is pretty catastrophic to your overall pace. So this is going to be a difficult one from the back. We had to let a lot of people go through. We lost a lot of momentum. There's idiots crashing left, right, and center. We're just going to try and keep ourselves out of the trouble, I guess. Anyways, we head into the middle sector. You can see Max Verstappen meets an actual F1 driver there, Sebastian Vettel, in his AI form. But regardless, nice to see that Max is racing his counterparts here in an online race. Doesn't happen all too often, but anyway, this is probably one of the most action-packed races in the bunch that I did, and so I had to show you what goes down in this race, but not only the next one in the US Grand Prix. Some absolute bangers here, but this was a very interesting race because yes, we do have front wing damage, and yes, we do have a bit of a pace advantage, so that's kind of been neutralized now by the damage, and so it means that we have to race very aggressively in a short space of time to get our way back through the field. Those overtakes on the AI just there, I had to poke my nose in and just hope that they'd leave me space here and there, and again, we're doing the same with Magnussen. Thankfully, they do budge, and we are through now for P8. A few people made pit stops for front wing, but I opted against that because I'm like, nah, there's such an easy chance that we'll get blown up again, so there's no point doing that. But we're going to go for a dive here on our teammates. He absolutely turns in like we don't exist, and we are left to pick up the pieces here in Spa. We catch up to him 2 laps later, so that defensive effort was kind of in vain because now he's back on the blowtorch once again, and we're that much more pissed off than what we were previously. We get a bit of fortune though on our side. He ghosts and lags back, and we take the opportunity to basically drive right through him and onto the podium now in this Belgian Grand Prix. But with a lap and a bit to go, you would probably think that that is the end of our race. Well, I can tell you it's not, because we come up to the line here and we actually set a fast start of the Grand Prix with a considerable amount of damage. Basically yellow on the left and nearly orange on the right. Is it yellow on the right? I don't know. But it's a lot of damage regardless. We're at least a second a lap slower than what we should be. We fast forward now to the last lap, still trying to catch up to the race leaders who are about 5 or 6 seconds up the road. Yellow flag. Don't tell me it's the race. Oh my goodness, it's the race leaders. They've taken each other out. We go through for the lead. And would you know, illegal overtake. So I'm like, okay, I'll let him go through. It turns out it wasn't the guy that I had to let through. It's the guy in P2 that I have to let through. And yeah, absolutely unbelievable. A penalty for overtaking 2 cars who rejoined dangerously onto the track, and I'm the one who gets the penalty for that. You've got to be absolutely joking me. So 3 second or 2 second time penalty, I don't bloody know. We re-overtake the guy in the lead, but unless there is penalties for these 2 fine gentlemen, we will not be winning this race. However, what we can take pride in is the fact that we are going to win the race on track, which is the moral victory, I would say. Across the line, we are the rightful winners of the Belgian Grand Prix, but the game has other ideas. P2, thanks for the penalty. Love this game.
Unbelievable. I can't believe this. No words.
Wonderful. I feel like that moment where Max got a podium and he was in the podium cooldown room, and then at the last second, he got told to leave because he got a penalty applied. Just such a crushing feeling. It's just what I'm experiencing now. I cannot believe that I got a penalty for that. And to make matters worse, if I would have just carried on and copped it on the chin, kept going, kept driving, I would have actually probably won still, because I gave up at least a second or two in slowing down and waiting for the guy who eventually... Whatever. I mean, it's just really annoying. I can't believe you can get a penalty for overtaking someone who was stopped and not even safely rejoining on the circuit. We now head to USA, where Max has also had some issues here. Illegally overtaking Kimi Räikkönen at the fast right-hander. Finally get my bloody words out. This is triggering me. It really is. This is taking years off of my life here. We move on to USA, and there's this glitch in the game where people can start the race without everyone else starting, and we had that glitch. Half the lobby left, but we finally get some, I don't know, just desserts for waiting, and the race is able to start. Well, we've lost 6 people. Away we go for the US Grand Prix. We got taken out in the Alfa Romeo, if you remember, just a couple of minutes ago, and now we're going to try and get some redemption here in the Red Bull, and that will be a fine end to what has been a very interesting day of racing. I'm not going to lie, a lot of weird things have just happened, and I don't know if it's just because of the namesake, but regardless, it's got to have some contributing factor. P7. A lot of people blowing up off the start. These F1 open lobbies, what do you expect? It's not even an open lobby. It's not my lobby. I just joined a public lobby. More like stewards of my friends today, as we let him go back through and then swiftly re-dive bomb him into the left-hander. At this point, I'm pretty cheesed off, to be honest. Aggression levels are at their peak, maximum. So I'm not going to be suffering any more bull crap. No words. Absolutely no words. Why wasn't he ghosted? And why did he rejoin dangerously? The Kimi Räikkönen wannabe. Imagine, like, trying to rename yourself as, like, an F1 driver or use that quote. I mean, that's just so stupid. Who would do that? Up the inside, into the last corner. Get the hell away from me, you laggy bastard. Oh, thank you for squeezing me off the track, too. I really appreciate that. P6, he slowed down to maybe get a penalty or some... I don't know, some sympathy from the stewards. That's the word I'm looking for. Doesn't work out. He loses a position, and we're into P6. This lobby is really annoying me at this point. This is going to be the last video. The last time I ever try and impersonate an F1 driver. This is absolutely ridiculous. Lap 2. We don't have any front wing damage, thankfully. We did have a bit of overheating on the rear tyre, especially the right rear, after that spin from Mr. Bois. But we cooled that down, we cooled ourselves down, and we are now trying to make some inroads on the race leaders. So, this is for a podium, P4 and P3 right in front of us. No penalties against our name. The Haas absolutely makes a mockery of the first sector. That's a free position for us. The guy in P2 is going really slowly, so we take that invitation. Come out worse for wear because of that. Go figure. Not even shocked at this point. I don't know what he was trying to do. I don't know if he was trying to race me, Max. But he has weighted up significantly. Nonetheless, we dive bomb him into the third sector. We are through now for P4. Guys in P2 and P3 are having a bit of a mare here. And we're going to see if we can make the most of this. Hug the inside at this fast right-hander. That is just free lap time. Jeff is giving me praises as we saw through. Lots of things are happening in this US Grand Prix at this point. As we head on to the penultimate lap, the Haas driver again bowls a massive wide. That's got to be 4 leg buys. Straight to the boundary rope, I would say. Steve Harmison, eat your heart out from the Ashes Tour. No one will really get that, but for the 1 or 2 people who will get that joke, they will absolutely love it. We're now leading this race on the penultimate lap. However, the guy who always bowls a wide as in my slipstream, and I have no battery left, so I've got nothing to defend against here. He goes to the inside, into the third sector. We give him the corner so that we can get a nicer exit here through the third sector. Holding it around here, and what do you know? No space given. Cheers, mate. Absolutely top racing. Thank you very much. Give me more. I can't wait Let's see what this guy dishes up on the last lap. I'm hungry for some, I don't know, forget that analogy. The guy behind me is corner cutting a lot and track extending in the Mercedes, so he is one to watch out for. I think he wants to deal out some punishment as well as we now head on to the last lap of this US Grand Prix. The guy behind us who was trying to catch up has been disqualified for track limits exploitation. To the outside, we give this guy the corner so that we get a nice punchy exit here, and it looks like it might work out for us here as we have the inside. Had to take a corner cut for that, but we now lead this race as we run side by side. Max Verstappen leads the US Grand Prix, but it isn't without its issues though. Time penalty.
They're on fresh softs. Their tyres are 4 laps old. The time last lap was a 36.1. They have a time penalty of 6.0.
So I definitely could have handled that a little bit better. 2 clumsy corner cuts, which I really could have avoided there. But I took the risk in order to get the track position. If I have the track position, I should be able to pull away. But thankfully, this guy has some penalties of his own, which means we should win this on track or off track. Just as long as we stay within 6 seconds of this guy. Defending to the inside massively. We'll have the inside and we'll squeeze this guy out every single day of the week. But he does a pretty good move there. Nice switchback. He gets the lead and then goes and...
They just turned into me.
Yeah. Max said it as good as what I could have. Turn in across us there. I mean, I will accept maybe a little bit of blame, but for the most part, he did turn across us quite a bit. But with only 2 corners to go now, this should be the victory of the US Grand Prix. Old mate back there is making sandcastles. But we are going to taste that sweet champagne on the podium.
And that's the race win. That is the race win. You absolutely bossed it. Magic today. Absolutely bossed it. Fantastic.
We did it as a team, guys. Unbelievable. What a race. Oh, I loved it.
Redemption, Max. Absolute redemption from last year. Brilliant race. Brilliant race.
Thanks, Christian. It is redemption. Although I don't think when we got taken out in the Alfa Romeo, that was a year ago. It was more like 10 minutes ago. But it is redemption of the last US Grand Prix nonetheless. And that concludes my experience of being a fake Formula 1 driver for a day on F1 2019. Leave a like if you enjoyed. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe to see plenty more racing game content. I really enjoyed making this video, and I might do another one on another driver. Depends if you guys like this or not. But that's it from me. Until the next one, I'll see you next time. And be nice to F1 drivers, please.
Fucking Raikkonen! What a fucking idiot!